Welcome to Tales from the Stable, where we shine a spotlight on the amazing programs and students at Hialeah Middle School. I'm your host, Yarita Peña, and today's episode is going to be a spooky one. Our Theater Magnet students have turned their classroom into a full-on haunted house, completed with scares, creativity, and a whole lot of hard work behind the scenes. We're taking you into the haunted house to show you how it was all built. So grab your flashlight and get ready to go into the Hialeah Middle School haunted house. Let's check it out.
Kick off our first episode inside the Theater Magnet's haunted house.
That's right, and we're starting with the person who brought it all together, our amazing theater teacher, Mr. Alayeto.
How you doing, guys? Thanks for having me on.
What inspired you and your students to create a haunted house this year?
Since I started here at Hialeah Middle, we've made haunted house an annual tradition that sprung from the need to give kids a performance they could come and see while our auditorium was under construction. This year, as has been with every single year, the theme for this year's haunted house was based on a student's ideas.
That's amazing.
How long did it take to put everything together?
Well, all of our projects are separated into three phases: pre production, production, and then when we're done, we have reflection, which is a post production. So the entire process to create something like Haunted House takes about 3 months. We start planning in August as soon as we come back from vacation, and we work writing the script, coming up with character ideas, building the set, designing costumes, and finally rehearsing the show in that time.
It clearly takes a lot of time.
Takes a lot of time. Theater is really time consuming and requires a lot of people who are really focused to get a lot of different jobs done.
That's awesome.
Can you walk us through how your class actually made the haunted house?
Yeah, so our haunted houses usually start with an idea on a whiteboard. So I'll stand on the board with a marker and we will brainstorm ideas, right, about what we want to see in our haunted house based on the theme. Then what we'll do is we'll draw a floor plan. And in that floor plan, we'll divide the room up into different, what we call stations, right? And these are different experiences that we want our guests who are visiting to have. Usually these stations are built around one big central station, which we call like the big scare, which is where you're sitting right here, which is the vampire throne room.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is. And so once we've done our drawings, right, and we'll draw also ideas of what we want the set to look like visually. So it's not just a map, but it's also things like these walls, things like what we want the thrones to look like. Then we'll get to looking through our supplies, seeing what we have, and then actually we start building the set together, right? So you see there's a lot of lumber here. The kids use power tools. All these the blood waterfalls that you see took hours and hours of stapling, right, to get all of this fabric up there. And the thrones that you see up there were also made by the kids because we couldn't source high back chairs. So we made them instead.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
If you could describe your students' haunted house in 3 words, what would they be?
Punk rock vampires.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Alayeto. We'll be back later in the year to talk more about the magnet, but now that we're here, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. The Hialeah Middle Theater Program puts on productions like this all year long. And if you want to be a part of the fun, go ahead and sign up to yourchoicemiami.org and apply to join the program. There, you'll be able to pick an audition and come join the fun. All right. So, yourchoicemiami.org or in the parent portal, and I will see you at the audition.
Now that we heard from Mr. Alayeto, let's hear from some of the students that helped make it happen.
We're here with Haley Lausel. What was your role in the haunted house?
My role in the haunted house is playing the character Katrina Van Helsing, a vampire hunter.
Every great story has a hero. What makes Katrina the hero?
Katrina is a hero because she keeps everyone calm and safe. Even when things get scary, she stays strong and protects everyone.
That's really cool. What were some of the challenges you faced?
I'd say keeping everyone in one big area, like for example, moving them from place to place, and also keeping them quiet.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Of course.
I'm here with.
Kesia Navarro.
How did your class work together to create something so spooky?
I came up with the idea of it being a vampire themed mansion at the beginning of the year. I presented it and we planned it out all on a map where the scare spots were going to be, how the room was going to be. The one of the hardest things we had was actually getting enough casting for all of this. And we made our scare spots, we made improvements and fixed what we thought wasn't perfect.
Wow, that's so cool.
What kind of materials did you use to make everything look so realistic? We used fluorescent sheets to make the ideas of the walls looking like blood. And like you can see in the back, one of the scary thing up there, that was supposed to be a hanging object, and we pinned it and made it look like a scary person. Same as with the cauldron. We made it out of cloth and hula hoops. So creative.
If you could change or add anything, what would it be?
I would say I would add more decorations in the top of here, the roof over here, so something glittery, more fluorescent like the walls, so they could be catched by the lights.
That's a good idea for next year's haunted house.
And finally, what was your favorite moment from the whole experience?
Seeing everybody so excited, we were planning it out on the whiteboard to see it actually happen to real life.
Wow, that's amazing. It's clear that a lot of hard work and creativity went into making this happen.
Sure did.
We're so proud of our Theater Magnet program. Thank you for sharing your spooky experience. Now back to our host, Yaritza.
Wow, what an amazing look inside our Theater Magnet Haunted House. A huge thank you to Mr. Alayeto and to all the students who made it happen. Of course, a huge thank you to our interviewers, Juliet and Mark, for asking all of the questions. This has been Tales from the Stable, where we showcase the best of Hialeah Middle School, one story at a time. I'm your host, Yaritza Peña, and until next time, see you, Broncos.